as you know, we had our first democratic elections in '94.
The future is bright for young South Africans.
Liberated!
Yeah! But now things are much better, and hopefully things will only get better.
It's a past now. Yes, it happened. We can't change and we can't forget, but we can forgive. We are living in the democracy now. We are all equal. So there's no need to discriminate each other's culture anymore because of the color of the skin. And there's no need to point the fingers to each other because we were all the victims of apartheid. We were all segregated, but we decided to come together.
Previously, we weren't exposed to other races. Our parents weren't exposed that much to other races, so we didn't actually understand each other.
I hated the white people. I hated white people for a very, very long time.
Because you're influenced by your parents, you know, they will tell you, you know, don't ever forget what they did to us.
I think it basically changed when I could see how forgiving Mr. Mandela could be.
We hope he can be around for a while to guide us because there's been challenging times. What actually is needed, you know, for the world today, where we're able to see beyond the color of the skin and really be able to find each other as human beings.
If you live in the past, if you every time look behind you and look at the door that closed behind you, you won't be able to recognize the 10 doors that's going to open up in front of you.
There was a lot of euphoria and excitement about what government was going to be able to achieve. So once you have this representative government representing the interests of all its citizens, then they were going to make things happen. But of course that's not true either, because government cannot just in 10 or 12 years make all these things happen that are required to happen.
You find that in these last 11 years of democracy, some people can show you the billions that they've accumulated, you know, but some people still with empty hands. So there are all these challenges that we face.
What we saw in 1994 and in the years subsequent to that substantially has been political transformation. And we have not seen much social and economic transformation.
We have affirmative action, but there are some questions around them too.
Now those same leaders who we fought for to be released from prison, they are in power today. They only recognize the blacks' efforts.
The president today, the youth loved him, and he's a brilliant man for our country.
Oh yes, Thabo Mbeki, oh yes, he's our president. Of course now with Zuma and all that, we're not too happy about that. I don't know about you, I'm not happy about that.
There's been challenging times, you know, in terms of Mbeki's succession and the whole Jacob Zuma issues, and so there's the challenges.
We're always in the middle of the sandwich. Once we weren't white enough, now we're not black enough to have all the privileges.
Democracies can be fragile, you know, and you need to safeguard it.
The government has to be representative. But they're not going to be representative by themselves. And therefore citizens also have to make sure that they hold government to account.
People really are not speaking out as they were speaking out in the apartheid years. So I don't know if it's because, you know, it's a black government and people don't want to question it.
Those of us who were younger in the early 80s and so on have that memory of activism and, you know, we're going to change things. I think that kind of heightened sense of activism does not really exist. The issues are different as well. But that doesn't mean that you have apathy. I think there's a different approach, a different way for young people to engage in the politics.
You know, in South Africa, we've won the political struggle, but the economic struggle still continues. The majority of the people are still poor and suffering.
The government of the day has got nothing to pull. It's already there, but there's no more money left. They just steal the money.
So there are all these challenges that we face, you know, in our country with the HIV/AIDS issue, which is a serious one. We like going to funerals almost every weekend. Yesterday I was at the funeral of my friend, he's a teacher. HIV-related illnesses. So it's, you know, we lived with death in the past, and death is still a part of us even now.
Yo, Mama, how many kids do you have?
4, and then
She's got 4 kids and 5 grandchildren. And then, like counting the whole number. Okay, she's not counting Lucky anymore because Lucky passed away like a month ago. So she's left with 4 kids and 5 grandchildren. And I believe Josephina is also, yeah, she's also sick. So she's basically working, taking care of her sick daughter and maintaining the household.
People living on tin houses, and, you know, one-roomed house with no privacy, the kids at risk, and young people being brought up like literally by the streets. It's part of an ongoing struggle really to say how do we bridge the gap between the rich and the poor.
Because nobody owes you nothing. If you don't go out there and claw your way through life and grab out of life what the opportunity there is, then you won't get nowhere.
So then you have a re-emergence in the sense of activism, but of a different type. It's no longer this angry running around the street throwing stones activism, but it's in some ways a more constructive activism, saying if we cannot and if we should not rely on government to provide, what is it that we do for ourselves?
By learning from experience, it makes you decide what you really want in your life, and you'll make sure that it won't happen again.
Deep down, I believe really we will rise from the dust.
Let the sun rise, the sun rise, the sun rise, let the sun rise, the sun rise, the sun rise, let the sun rise, the sun rise, the sun rise, let the sun rise, voices shout.